And good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you might be right around the globe. This is Henry Samuel Weinreich, and you have landed on Henry and Friends Live. And I do apologize. We're exactly 1 minute past the hour because I can't survive without my cup of tea. So I just had to make a quick cup of tea, and we were preparing with Lucy Laurita in the green room. And let me tell you, we have an absolutely fantastic show for you today. So whatever you're doing, wherever you are on the globe, I want you to make sure that you sit back, relax, and enjoy it, because this is your weekend lifestyle vodcast. And I am Henry Roth, and I used to be Henry Roth. I'm Henry Weinreich. So we're going to do a little bit of countdown as everybody sort of gets relaxed, gets a cup of tea, gets their martini, if that's what you're doing at nighttime, as we are exactly 8:32 a.m. Melbourne, Sunday, right across the globe. We are exactly 6:32 p.m. Saturday night, Eastern United States of America. We're going into London at 11:32 p.m., straddling Saturday and Sunday. And in Bangkok, we're exactly 5:30 a.m. Sunday morning. Welcome to our show. We have an amazing lineup. We have Lucy Laurita, our fashion correspondent, beaming in live from Melbourne. And now we are going to do our countdown because we have a fantastic show coming up. Here we go.
I long for the salt in the air, giving me freedom, taking my care.
So I hope you're all doing really, really well. There's been so much going on around the globe, and there's so many things that we can actually take on board when we're doing our Lifestyle Magazine program. So today in my editorial, before we start with Lucy Laurita, our fashion correspondent based in Melbourne, coming live to you from right across the world, is two really interesting topics that we're going to be bringing up today. And if you want to know what they are, stick around, because here is my little editorial piece before we start. By the way, I think I've counted, this is our 29th show, which has been amazing. It's been building with some really authentic growth. We don't do boosters or fillers. Next weekend, for a little bit of a what's coming up, we have the most amazing LinkedIn futurist, Ms. Rebecca Bond Bradshaw. She's amazing. She's based in the USA, and she said, Henry, there is no broken glass ceiling for women. It's now, we're past breaking the ceiling and we're actually into blue skies. The weekend after that, we have my sister Lillian Weinreich, architect, who'll be talking about women in architecture. We have psychiatrist, Dr. David Salvage, coming in from New York City and talking about all the dysfunctional stuff and how, as a psychiatrist, what he deals with and how we can deal with that. We also have coming up through the month of August, the Student Whisperer. And that is actually Sasha Kaluri and Sydney Goldstein in Connecticut. So we'll be talking about remote education. And I'm lining up a secret interview, which I can't tell you about now, but I'll tell you right away. And that's we're going to be coming live out of Africa with somebody that has just emigrated to Africa, and she's right on the Kruger National Park. But for now, here comes. I'm so sorry, I just took a big sip out of my tea. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, wherever you might be around the world. We have two big topics that we're going to be discussing. Coming up, we have our fashion correspondent, Lucy Laurita, based in Melbourne, live and kicking, and myself here in Sydney, and you all around the world. We have two topics here in our editorial and how we came about them. The first one was, we did a lot of extensive reading on the power of color, spirituality, metaphysical properties, what color does for you, how it actually portrays, what color palettes you use. And then I read a really interesting article in Time magazine not long ago that actually color power and color therapy is actually a pseudoscience. So we want to know this weekend, what does color actually mean to you? We've got about 12 colors that we would ask you to let us know what color you relate to, and we'll do like a little bit of a reading. Lucy and I will do that. Lucy, of course, works with a lot of color. And also my editorial that I wanted to raise. So number one, what color you relate to. Is it pseudoscience? Is it the real deal? How you use color? What does it mean to you? But also, I couldn't avoid the Olympics, which is a global event. And what are your thoughts and your comments on it? My particular editorial piece this morning is there's so many ways you can look at it. I've been speaking to friends and reading articles. What a waste of time, how sad it's been because there's nobody in the, watching it except for it becoming a global digital program. So waste of time, it's anachronistic, it's not really suitable. And then I spoke to my father yesterday and he said to me, you know what, the show must go on. And at the moment, at least there is unity of bringing nations together. So our second question today is, what do you think about the Olympics? And our first question is, what do you think about color therapy? Is it a pseudoscience? Does it matter to you? What power can you get from it? What healing properties can you get through it? We are going to be putting on Lucy Laurita from our green room live from Melbourne. But right now, this is Henry and Friends Live. Welcome. Take a seat because this is going to be a colourful ride. We have tucked away in our green room for about the next 10 seconds before we start an extraordinary fashion designer based in Melbourne, Australia, who uses colour and chooses to use colour as part of her own individual spirituality, the metaphysical forces she uses, not just for the gowns that she designs, but also for her own mental well-being. She is actually a crusader, an activist in mental well-being. Lucy's also preparing to be her first experience in reality TV. And we had some advice last weekend from Denny Hines about what that's all about. If you want to hop back on our YouTube channel, Henry and Friends Live, and just have a little bit of a look at some of the advice that Denny gave us. But without much of a drum roll and a huge trumpet blowing scenario, welcome to the stage, Ms. Lucy Laurita. Morning.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Henry and everyone. You always give me such a wonderful introduction, so thank you.
It's not difficult.
And I love your music.
It's not difficult. We've had a fun week this week, coming up to the weekend. First of all, how has your week been until we landed ourselves this morning being on Henry and Friends Live? Can you give me some highlights? What did you get up to?
Oh, keeping very busy. So luckily, I'm still able to work in lockdown, so that is my saving grace. And kids are on homeschool, but they're very good. They're very settled into their homeschooling now. So not as many ups and downs as last time, but still lockdown number 5. So yay, here we go. Hopefully we are all out of this very soon. But apart from that, what else? Between work, homeschool, looking after my puppy who just eats everything and shreds everything, no matter how many,
I know, I've heard about your puppy. So
maybe I need to find a colour that suits her personality. Maybe that's what it is.
So I want to welcome everybody on board. We'll be saying hello and asking what I'll be fielding their questions, either their opinion on this week's and coming up for the whole next 10 days. I think it is the Olympics. Is it relevant? What do you think? Do you think that there's a place for it? Is it symbolic anymore? And I'm going to be asking you first in a moment, Lucy. And then we're going to be moving on to colour. What color do you relate to? What color inspires you? How do you use the power of color to your advantage? And first of all, thank you for joining us. But I'm going to ask you,
Thanks for having me.
What's your take on the Olympics? What's your opinion?
Well, personally, I believe we need to keep it going because sport is something that brings communities together, and these athletes have worked so hard, and this may be their only shot. And knowing what it's like with kids and how hard they work through, to get to a certain point, and they're supposed to go on stage or whatever, and then if they miss that opportunity, I think we need to go on. It's a positive.
So you
it's
think
positive for the world?
So you think the show must go on? Yeah. Do you know what I was thinking? And I really invite all of those people. Welcome on board from Canberra, from Melbourne, and we've just had somebody popping on from London. But my opinion is, when I looked at it, I have to be honest. And again, we're inviting people to tell us what they think about the Olympics. I felt happy and I felt sad. I felt sad because, and then I thought to myself, my goodness gracious me, what kind of example is Japan providing to the world? In one regard, I thought to myself, and that was this, Lucy. The bottom line is that they are carrying on. Can you imagine? I mean, when you look on TikTok, which I find is a real insight into, uncensored filming before it all happens, just the preparation and just the caution. And I think what was happening is, I think that Japan was saying, wow, the show is going to carry on. So I agree with you. I think that it's positive. And of course, I did catch a little bit. I don't know if anybody caught a little bit of the Olympic ceremony, but that red flag with the white, that color, unbelievable.
Well, that's what, we all need color. Like, imagine a world without color, or, what would we be like?
Well, actually, that's a really good question. And that's another question I want to raise to everybody. So we're going to move on, because we're going to talk about the colors that we love the most. And we actually have here, guys, 12 colors that we want to, I probably can't see that, but 12 different colors. When you tell us what color you love, Anthony, Melita, and Kat, what colors are your favorite colors, we might be able to tell you what that is with regard to your personality traits. And that's the beginning of our show. Part 2 is going to be, how do you mix and match color to mood and all that sort of stuff. So please tell us what color you think represents you and how you feel that is empowering to you. Lucy, so I have to start with you. What's your color and why?
Okay, so I've always been drawn to turquoise. I love the color turquoise. I can't say that I have many clothes that I wear in turquoise, only because it's not always on trend. But I'm always drawn to the color turquoise. I love it in beads. If I used to wear all those, like layers of beads, but then they're broken everywhere. Yeah, but it makes me feel good. And I've been told, but my husband actually told me that it does suit me. So there we go. So hopefully it does suit me, but it does make me feel good.
So
just have that in my mind. It's very calming, soothing, and it's always with me.
Well, this is interesting. We're getting colors up. So we're going to be able to be color soothsayers and what actually it means to people. It's so interesting because, I've been reading a lot of articles about this being a pseudoscience, but no one can tell another person, however many studies they have, what is valid for them or not. Would you mind if I read you actually what turquoise means? Are you ready? Okay, I'm going to look it up. I'm looking up the chart. Please stand by. I had it all ready. Okay, everybody. This is what this means when Lucy Laurita actually likes the color turquoise. And we're getting up your colors as well. Turquoise is a valuable mineral that is often used for jewelry, especially in the American Southwest and Middle East. Here is the association of color, Lucy. Your association is feminine, calming, sophisticated, energy, wisdom, serenity, wholeness, creativity, emotional balance, good luck, spiritual grounding, friendship, love, joy, tranquility, patience, intuition, and loyalty. Do you relate?
Yes, I believe to most things. I'm pretty intuitive, so that makes sense. I get a sense for things. I hope I'm wise. I guess I'm growing into being wise as the years go on.
So you relate to it, because we're going to talk later on after the part of it is how people, in horoscopes, they take on board, this is how the be all and end all is. And as we've been preparing the show, we're like, well, you know what? Color is actually a palette of colors, but we wanted to start with basic colors. So here's an interesting one. We've got Melita from Canberra, who we adore, and we're going to get to everybody else's color choices. I love dual colors, strong, deep green, reds, and blues. I also love black. However, I also love blue jeans and brown boots. And that's what we were talking about later on. Would you like to actually read off to Melita what actually black recognizes from our resources? Because, by the way, as you guys might have noticed, Melita, you and I, we love black as one of our choices. So Lucy's going to tell us her color chart, what this actually means, and how it represents. Okay, are you ready, my love?
Okay, so black is associated with power, fear, mystery, strength, authority, elegance, of course, formality, a little bit of the dark side, evil and aggression, authority, rebellion, but sophistication. Overall sophistication, I think we can. But black is actually not a color. Did you know?
What, darling?
Black is not a color. No, not.
That's fascinating. That's what I saw. So it's actually, it's what is that? What does that mean that black is not a color?
Well, it's a combination of all colors mixed together. But we need black to create all colors.
Well, I think it's interesting. So my sisters in New York City wear actually only black. And when I was reading the chart, and I wear a lot of black, and New Yorkers wear a lot of black as well. And I think it's interesting. I think for me, especially doing this show, when I wear black, I definitely get dressed up in the morning. It doesn't matter what's happening out in the world. I put my aftershave on. I put my moisturizer on. I put my hair stuff on. And for me, black represent, I feel like I'm okay. I can be in charge of doing the technology, getting this organized, doing our green room in the beginning. I just feel like it calms me down. I feel that I'm in control.
That's very sophisticated.
Sophisticated. Definitely growing into sophistication. There's absolutely no doubt about it. We're going to
always sophisticated and elegant, very elegant.
Well, thank you very much. We're going to put you in the green room because it's green. You are watching Henry and Friends Live. Thank you so much for joining us. It is exactly almost 15 minutes to the hour. So it's 6:50 p.m. New York City time on Saturday night. That means it's 11:50 p.m. And a big shout out to Rubina Latif in London, our beauty correspondent, who was a little bit under the weather. We hope you feel much better. In Bangkok, it's coming to 5:50 a.m. Sunday morning. And of course, here in Sydney and Melbourne, where we're coming live from, it's exactly 8:50 a.m. in the morning. And we're talking about two topics today, which we invite you to participate and ask your questions, your thoughts about the Olympics and whether it's relevant or not, what it means to you, what it represents to you, if anything. Is it anachronistic? Or do you think it was something that was really bold of Japan because the show must go on? And we're also talking about the power of color. Is it a pseudoscience? Does it mean any relevance to you? How do you feel about it? And, do you participate in what we're talking about, which is color is important in what we choose and how we choose it. You're watching Henry and Friends Live, and we're going to be back right after this with some of your color choices. Here. Oh yeah, color. I'm going to bring on Lucy in a moment, but whatever you're doing, however you're doing it, there's no doubt about it. As we've been researching and doing a lot of research on color, all this information about color is down below on the description. So we've hyperlinked all the color references we've made. We've had some really great article references that you will find. You'll also find Lucy Laurita down the bottom of our description. Down the bottom of my description is also how you can connect with us. Any show ideas you would like, anything that feedback that you'd love to give us, don't hesitate to contact me on Henry and Friends .live. That's my website. We're bringing Lucy back, and we are actually looking into our color crystal ball, and we're going to be bringing up Anthony, who's one of our regular participants of Henry and Friends Live, directly from Melbourne. Good morning. How are you, Anthony? I hope you're well.
Good morning, Anthony.
Lucy, listen to this one. So Anthony loves both red and green. I am going to go onto my green chart here, and then I want your reaction to it. So let me go on to green. Look, we really did our homework. Come on, guys. Like, you can't see this, but I'm telling you, we've been on this for weeks. Okay, Miss Anthony, I hope you're ready. And this is actually what green means, because I think that's an interesting one. Green, Anthony, means renewal, nature, energy. Associated meanings are growth, harmony, freshness, safety, fertility, Mr. Anthony, environment, money, finances, banking, ambition, greed, and jealousy. Interestingly enough, so you may or may not relate to that. I know I relate to a lot of that with regard to green. What's your relationship with green, Lucy?
I love green. And for me, it means it's love, renewal, re-energize, revitalize. I know in everything there is good and bad, and in all colors there's the positive and negative, but there's way more positive in green. Like, we're surrounded by green. Nature is green. Like, so it's beautiful. It represents everything for me that is positive. How about you, Henry?
Yeah, no, it's interesting because our horticulturalist expert that comes and does our garden all the way down my parents' home, and if you've noticed, I'm actually been in my parents' home for the last, I think it's now, I can't remember, 6 weeks, 5 weeks, 6 weeks.
And thank you, lockdown.
I tell you something though, it's given me a whole new insight into the evolution of my parents, but that's a whole nother discussion, which I'm going to be talking about with Dr. David Salvage, who's a psychiatrist who's coming up in the month of August. I have to tell you, I love green, and I tell you what was so interesting and why this whole color experience. So we have a fantastic gardener. His name is Panos, and he's from Greece, and he wears the most fantastic shade of green. He's got a cap, he's got the shirt, he's got a team of people, and you know, green I utilized for my logo. And actually there was a whole article I read about how the choice of colors you make for your personal brand are really important.
Yeah.
So I use for Henry and Friends, somebody said to me when I first started, my dear friend, Mr. Simon Mark Penwarden, based in London, England, did our logo. And I said to him, I just wanted grass for my logo because for me it was renewal. My relationship with green is significant. And also my personal trainer said to me, it's really essential that every day you actually put the sole of your feet down on green grass. Did you know that?
Yeah, I've heard that. Yes.
Do you do
definitely.
that?
Great to be grounded and reconnect. Yes, definitely. Especially my son is very connected to greenery. He loves gardening and stuff, which he didn't take that from me. I love green, but I do not have a green thumb. But I'm so glad that he has found that. Especially with homeschooling, it's very stressful, but he's found that to help him reconnect, and it's very calming for him.
You know, it's
so yay to green.
Yay to green. You know, it's interesting because we're talking about the color, and also when we get to part 2 of this show, we're going to be talking about the metaphysical properties and also how we take the paintbrush and then match it to our mood, which you're very big on. Interestingly enough, one of our most popular, highest rated shows on henryandfriends.live, and you can catch up on all of them on our YouTube channel, Henry and Friends Live, is Deb Meyer, and I know you watched it. And I got a whole new appreciation for horticulture, greenery, live and living things. It's incredible just how much those properties, you know, are important to people. If you've just arrived, this is Henry and Friends Live. We are going right across the globe. We have Lucy Laurita on her 5th lockdown in Melbourne, Australia. This is me, Henry Samuel Weinreich, holed up in my parents' place in Sydney, Australia, and I'm not complaining 1 minute. I mean, look at the artwork behind me. And we're talking about color. So there's 2 topics today. Is the Olympics relevant anymore? What are your thoughts about that? And please share your opinions, because this is a really safe haven. Whether we agree with you or disagree with you, we're always going to respect your opinions. And how does color impact on your life? What are your favorite colors? Do you choose colors for your mood? Do you choose colors for your inspiration, for your invigoration? We're going to bring on Lucy back on the green room. It's nice how we're doing the green room today. And we're going to go into some comments, and we're going to see what other people love. So we've got here, Kat loves white and green. So we've done green. And with everybody's permission, I'm going to talk. Would you like to talk about what white's about, Lucy?
Well, let me find my notes. Do we have white?
Yes, we do have
silver.
white. Yeah, we do have white. We have white before, after pink and before blue, right in the middle there.
Let me.
We've done a lot of, Kat, when you hear what we've got to talk to you about white, we have a tremendous.
Well, I definitely know white is associated with purity. So
purity, sterility, and innocence. So not so much sterility, but innocence. It's also to do youthfulness, and also a clean mind and a clean spirit, which is really, really, really interesting. And I'm going to get onto it really quickly. Okay.
Okay. Are
you ready? Everybody, drum roll for white, how you introduce it into your white, especially for Kat, what this actually means.
An inherently positive color is associated with purity, virginity, innocence, light, goodness, heaven, safety, brilliance, illumination, understanding, cleanliness, faith, beginnings, sterility, spirituality, possibility, humility, sincerity, protection, softness, and perfection.
I think knowing Kat, perfection and a clean spirit, because she is extremely metaphysical and spiritual. So no wonder, Kat, you have actually gravitated towards those colors. And green, of course, is also very much about growth and optimism. So I think that's a really good combination. And by the way, how interesting, because we were talking about that before we did our show, and that was that in actual fact, people don't just think about one color, because, you know, when we were preparing it, and Lucy said, no, Henry, we've got to be talking about a range of colors. And so interesting, no one so far, except for me, I'll be honest with you, I just chose black, actually chose one color palette. And so Lucy was on the money because she knows her thing. So I'm going to bring on somebody else, Lucy, and this is Andrea Agosta. And Andrea.
Good morning, Andrea.
Good morning, Andrea. And Andrea likes turquoise and pink. So we've got pink. Yes, we've got pink. Pink is so interesting because, you know, so many women and men now are gravitating towards pink. Personally, I know that when a man, well, this is just my opinion, when a man, and we're going to get on to Andrea in a second, and we're going to hear what it means. For a man, when they wear pink, to me, it defies templating. And I believe men that wear pink are, I wouldn't call it brave, but I would call it individualistic and flying in the face of convention. That's on the men's side. And not that we have to use, there's a lot of gender fluidity. So I'm just saying from my perspective. And now, Andrea, we're going to find out what it means generally. Take it over, Lucy.
Okay, pink. A delicate colour that means sweet, nice, playful, cute, romantic, charming, feminine, and tenderness. Is associated with bubblegum, flowers, babies, little girls, cotton candy, and sweetness.
Oh my God, I love bubblegum.
The colour pink is a universal colour of love, love of oneself and of others. Pink represents friendship, affection, harmony, inner peace, and approachability. And as Andrea is a good friend, and she's lovely, and she's very creative as well. So it's very feminine and creating beautiful jewelry. So I think pink is very suitable.
It's very, very interesting. And I think the thing is, although there's so many articles out there that will defy what we're talking about, it's a pseudoscience, that it's actually, bogus, but it's so not, because everybody relates to color.
Yes.
I haven't brought up the topic of color blindness. And I think that, just being politically correct, I have to say that the people I know who are colorblind are amazing, because they compensate, and their life and their world is seen not through rose-colored glasses. They just understand what colors may or may not be that they can see and they can't see. And they celebrate color that they can see so much more than what we take for granted. Have you ever had experience with people that have had color blindness, and what's your take on it?
Yeah, I do know friends that are colorblind. It happens particularly more in men, I think. And it's usually between the red and the green, I believe, that is they see differently. I haven't had too much discussion, but maybe if someone listening in is colorblind, maybe they can join in and give us an insight into how they see color. But I do understand that we all see color differently. No two people see color the same.
We have some comments from Annette San Filippo and Gabriel Pasturi, who happens to be your husband. And,
Good morning, Annette and Gabriel.
I have to say, I'm going to let the cat out of the bag, but we've been doing a lot of preparation for this all this week. And apparently, Gabriel, you get 5 stars along with your children, because Lucy is preparing for, being going on the reality TV. And your ears must have been ringing this week, because Lucy was talking about the importance of that support, and she sees you all in colours. So we're going to go on to Gabriel first, because his ears had to have been ringing this week, Lucy, and talking about support and everything. Here's interesting. You might want to look up for your husband, Gabriel. I'll tell you what, you do orange and I'll do blue. So this is what, orange. So you're going to do orange. Again, it's so interesting, truly, that we don't look at ourselves just in one part of the rainbow. We are a combination. We are textured. I love this topic. Okay, over to Lucy, and you're going to talk about, for Gabriel Pasturi, what his take is on, your take is on the color orange.
Okay, so I do know orange suits his character very well. He used to wear this orange coat all the time years ago. So orange means creativity, sexuality, joy, enthusiasm, promotes a general sense of wellness, outgoing, self-assuredness, intellect, busy, bright, courage, creativity, relationships, property deals, authority, power, sun and fire elements, happiness, motivation, well-being, awareness, kindness, success, concentration, optimism, legal matters, strength, reproductions, business goals, selling, action, amiability. The list goes on and on for orange. And I know that orange is associated with a lot of health benefits as well.
Is it? Well, I'll tell you something, because before the whole pandemic thing happened, Gabriel and I were bonding, because Gabriel I know he's traveling again, and I think he'll relate to it. And we had this most amazing walk, and we were like all getting set up, and it will happen. And because he was going to be coming to Sydney much more often, and we were going to go for male power walks. And I think the thing there that I think you said, wasn't it fire and sun was orange? And he is quite a dynamic character there, and he bloody well almost outwalked me, that man. Like, we went on and on and on. Yes. We went all the way down to the
energy colour, orange.
Energy colour. So he sort of boosted me up, because it was like later in the evening, he goes, "Are you still wanting to do this walk?" And I'm like, "Bring on the orange." So absolutely. This next colour, which is also what Gabriel has nominated, is the colour blue. And I'm just looking at my chart. We are organised here. Give me one moment, because we've got this after yellow. I've even numbered it. We really have to be very organised here for you guys. Okay, Lucy, listen to this about Gabriel Pasturi, based in Melbourne. Could be possibly near to you. Might even be your neighbour. That was your husband.
Neighbour could be good.
Yeah. I think very neighbour. He's right next door, somewhere near you. Anyway, this is interesting, because this is the blue colour. All right, Mr. Gabriel, my main man, this is what blue actually represents. It represents the sky and the sea, and is associated with open spaces, freedom, intuition, imagination, expansiveness, inspiration, and sensitivity. You see, men can be sensitive. The metaphysical qualities of blue, for those people who relate to it, and we are loving all your comments here, and we're going to be getting onto it in a moment, is the color blue has positive effects on the mind and the body. As the color of the spirit, it invokes rest and can be calming and exude feelings of tranquility. I have to say to you, it's so interesting, because experiencing Gabriel as a human being, and that's why these color things are so interesting. The interesting metaphysical part of the blue, which we love, the sky. Oh my God, you should see. I'm scared to show you guys the color of the sky, because it'll disconnect my whole thing here. But the color of the sky and the metaphysical and spiritual qualities of that is it exudes feelings of tranquility. That's why we're told that we should go by the ocean, and all that sort of stuff. So thank you for checking in. We love you being here. And I'm going to go down to new comments in a minute. Here we have Annette. Can you read that? Because that's really, there's a lot there, but I'll read it. Sorry if I go in there, guys. I was getting my eyes checked before the pandemic, but hello. So sorry, Annette, if I go in deep here. Good morning. My relationship with color is the way it makes me feel. This is what we were talking about. So we might dovetail into this. When I look at a color, it has the power of recall memories which affect my mood. It lifts me. It makes me smile. It feeds. Sorry, let me get better. I'll just read this from this. Sorry, let me start again. Good morning. My relationship with color is the way it makes me feel. When I look at the color, it has the power to recall memories which affect my mood. It lifts me up. It makes me smile. I feel it releases happiness and hormones. This is a very good moment for us as we continue to look at new comments. And I'm telling you, they're coming thick and fast, with a little bit of a break, because when we come back, now we're getting into the sophisticated part of this conversation at exactly 10 past the hour. So it's 7:10 p.m. Saturday night, New York City. It's 12:10. We've gone on to Sunday with London, Greenwich Mean Time, and it's now exactly 9:10 a.m. Sunday morning. When we come back, we're going to talk about what the spiritual impact is of color, how that feels, what it does, what it makes you associate with, right after this break. Here we go. The topic now is evolving, developing. All those people that have joined us, we're talking about the metaphysical and spiritual qualities and associations that color brings to people and how people use them in their lives. When Lucy Laurita, who's now in the green room at the moment, based in Melbourne, coming live to you for around the globe, was talking about, I was talking one-dimensionally about color, and she said, no, Henry, when I utilize color for my fashion, for my designing, for the gowns that I create based in Melbourne and exported around the world, the bottom line is that she said to me, it's a combination of palettes. We have now just come aboard this fantastic little comment from Annette, which I'm just pulling up right now. And she's talking about the relationship, what actually, bear with me. Annette's being very prolific here. Fantastic, Annette. Welcome, by the way. And she's talking about how it's a mood booster. And Lucy Laurita, live from Melbourne, was talking about that. So how do you relate to these comments? And what's your relationship with colour compared to my one-dimensional approach before we prepared this topic?
Yeah, Annette, you're right on. Like, I feel the same way. Colour affects my mood 100%. And I believe that we all have a very individual and personal relationship with colour because of it relates back to our childhood experiences, our cultures. So yeah, I feel colour is very important to me, and what the colours I wear or what I associate with, the colours I have in my mind before going to sleep, the colours I wake up to. Like I do tend to just close my eyes and visualise different colours that will stimulate different thoughts. How about you, Henry? How do you feel? You have those experiences of closing your eyes and visualizing certain colors?
Okay, I don't. My father does. I think my mother does. I know my sisters do. I don't. And I think the thing is, when we do a show like this, I always leave with a chunk that I add to my toolkit of experiences that I have with everybody on this show. And you have enlightened me. So has Annette, so has everybody today, because I think about colour in maybe more like a bold palette. So it's like black, blue, green, yellow, orange, and I'm learning. And so true confessions from the host, not exactly, but I'm going to start looking at things. And also people talk about aura of colour. Do you see people's aura of colour?
I don't see people's aura of colour, but I would see, like when I meet a client, for instance, I will be able to say what colour suits them best.
Well, would you like to know the aura? See, I sometimes see aura of colour. Would you like to know, and we can talk about this colour in a moment, what the colour is that I'm seeing around you right now?
Yes, please.
Purple.
Purple. I love purple.
I can see the aura.
Purple is my inner calm.
Yeah,
I've been thinking of purple a lot as it. I think, like everyone, we're all unsettled. Well, the thoughts of COVID and when are we going to get out of this? When can we travel and see the world? Because that's like a dimming of color. Not being able to see the world is like the lights dimming for me. So I do visualize purple a lot to help me boost my mood.
Well, I think that you're right. I think that the experience of the world probably, and, we're in all such different positions. I think about the people in India. I think about it's a whole other topic. But one thing's for sure, when we can travel out of Australia, there'll be nobody left here because Australians travel like crazy, like we're known for it. I don't know if everybody else in the world knows, but in actual fact, when kids, I think it's already around the world, but especially Australians, they always take a sabbatical. The minute that last exam is done, they're out of here for at least a year. People travel in and out of Australia. That's the beauty of Australia, that we have the amazing country here, but we get the hell out. And
I think because we're so far away. We're isolated.
I swear to God, no one is going to be left in this country for the first year. I know I will be doing this show from elsewhere, but I don't know how everybody else feels about it. I'll just tell you what your current aura actually says, what purple says, as we're nearing to just on 9:15 a.m. in Melbourne. We're finishing in 60 seconds. And actually, we've got a really interesting comment by Annette, so we'll extend it for a few minutes. And then please stay behind for the after show where Lucy and I discuss how we felt about the show. But for those people that love purple, whether you have an aura or however you use it, royalty, nobility, luxury, power, grandeur, devotion, peace, pride, independence, and magic. That's the aura you're giving at the moment. Here comes
magic. We all need a little bit of magic.
We all need a bit, and we were talking about that as well. And also Annette saying it's very religious. Annette's really into color here. And I'm just going to put up her beautiful comment, and we're going to end with this because this, I think, says everything about how we can color our world. And I'm going to read it out slowly. My partner is colorblind. He just says everything looks beautiful, honey. How gorgeous is that? What's your comment on that?
That's amazing. That's amazing. That means he has a great imagination and he sees beauty all around. And he's blessed to have a beautiful partner like you, Annette. And I know you, and I know how creative you are, and create a lot of beautiful. Annette does beautiful headwear.
Well, I have to say that the appreciation of things, I think if anything, we're being piqued and really made to realize really the beauty of the color. I'm going to ask Lucy to end off this show. Before we get, if you want to stay behind for the after show, because this is when we dig in and we say, how did you think we went? How did you like it? Did you enjoy it? I want you to be the second last comment before we end the formal part of this show. And that is, Lucy, what's the one thing that you'd like people to take away from today's show?
Try a little exercise and just close your eyes and visualize a color. Either in the morning, before bed, just give it a go and see how you feel.
I like that. I'm going to say thank you so much to all of you people that have joined us today. Please make sure that you connect with Lucy Laurita. She's actually preparing, and we're going to have some exclusive interviews with her on her preparation, the support of her family, what that means to prepare for a reality TV show. I know Lucy and I are discussing that in the next week or two, because I've had a bit of reality TV experience, and we're going to be doing that. Don't forget that you
hold
can
my hand.
You don't. That's the interesting thing. I think in life, no one, the hand is held within, and we're just learning from each other. So don't forget to please connect with Lucy Laurita, her website, lucylaurita.com.au, such a stunning website, and her Instagram account I'm secretly besotted by, and it's Lucy Laurita _designer blog. Thank you so much, Lucy. We'll be back in 60 seconds talking about the after show. Thank you so much. We'll be right back. What a gorgeous young lady Lucy is. And I invited her to do this show because I noticed how much she brought color into this world. I think if I get a little bit philosophical, because I think that in these times we do get tender and melancholic, melancholy comes into our lives. I think whatever the color is, bring texture and resilience and respect for yourself and for everybody else into life. That's my message for today. Next weekend, we have the most phenomenal guest on directly from the United States of America. Her name is Rebecca Bradshaw. She's a LinkedIn futurist. She runs an extraordinary organization, which is the safety of guns, as well on top of that. So it's an upbeat conversation about that, because we bring that topic in. But also she said to me, as an a female entrepreneur, a woman, she said, Henry, there's no glass ceiling being cracked anymore. We see it, and I see it, and my organization see it as blue skies. Please stick around if you'd like to hear and listen to our after show. And for this show, The Power and Spirituality of Color, Everything is on the bottom of our description. Please do join us on YouTube, Henry and Friends Live, and subscribe, and click onto your warning bell also for Henry and Friends Live Facebook page, because then you get notifications of when the shows are on. Thank you so much for coming on this journey with us. We're doing weeks and weeks and months of some fantastic shows. Go on and have a look at whatever else we've done. And now just a little promo for next week. And then guess what? We're going to be doing the after show. Thank you for joining us.
With you, the sun is shining 24/7. 'Cause when we're together, it feels like we're in heaven. If it will get dark, you'll be my million stars. I know I can lean on.
How did we go? Did you enjoy it?
Yes, I'm bopping away. Color is like music and sense. Like you feel it.
You do feel it. How did you feel about the show, though?
Oh, it's great fun. It's always great fun with you, Henry.
Do you know, it's always interesting. We were talking about, and that's just being really transparently honest, that, sometimes when you're preparing for the show, it is a lot of hard work. It can be a lot of hard work, but somehow, like everything you do with hard work, because there is the research, there's the discussion, there's our meetings and everything. But I tell you what, Lucy, the morning of the Sunday comes, I spring out of bed at 5 o'clock, and it sets me up for the whole rest of the week. What about you?
Definitely. It's always it's uplifting. And speaking of things that are so positive, opening your mind to other possibilities, whether this color theory is you believe in it or you don't, open your mind to something new.
I think for me,
that's positive.
I think that you're right. And I think the thing is, and I have you to thank, because every guest that we've had has always brought different things onto the plate. And I tell you, amongst all the different influence you've had, the journey that you're taking with all your projects, some secret that I know about, your preparation with your family for the reality TV show that you're going to be starring in with other people, and it's all based on charity. But the thing I learned about, I took away from you, is you said, Henry, whatever you do with this program, people know what's going on the outside world. They know, okay? They don't need to know more about that. What we need is positivity and a refreshing, invigorating show, and I can't thank you enough. I wish you a fantastic week. We're going to need to make an appointment so we can talk about more of your reality TV show things. To all of you who've joined us, have a fantastic weekend. We can't wait you are going to love this next guest this next weekend. Rebecca Bradshaw, a LinkedIn futurist. She's right up there, and she's going to be talking about past the glass ceiling, the blue skies for women, and the opportunities ahead. Have a great weekend. See you later, my darling. Take care. Thank you. Of course, I'm going to be speaking to Lucy after this to thank her personally, which I always do with all my guests. Do come back for next weekend. It's going to be a Bobby Dazzler. Goodbye.
With you, the sun is shining 24/7. 'Cause when we're together, it feels like we're in heaven. If it will get dark, you'll be my million stars. I know I can lean on.